All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into C strings. Think of this as your personal exam prep session. We're going to hit the core concepts, the must-know functions, and maybe most importantly, all those sneaky traps that you need to sidestep to absolutely crush your exam. Okay, first question, and it's a big one. This is probably the very first thing your professor is going to throw at you. What is a C string, really? I mean, what are we actually dealing with here? Getting this right is, well, it's everything. It's the foundation for all the other stuff. So let's nail it down right now. So here it is. The big secret is, there's no secret. A C string isn't some fancy, special data type. Nope. It's just an array of characters. That's it. But, and this is the crucial part, it has one very, very important rule. It has to end with this special null character, the /0. Think of it like a stop sign at the end of a street. It literally tells the computer, hey, the string ends right here. All right, so now that we know what a string is, let's get into the fundamentals. We're going to look at two absolute must-know basics, how you actually define a string and how you figure out its length. Okay, here's a classic exam question for you. You've got a string, char text equals Merhaba. Now, if you run the strlen function on text, what does it return? Is it 7 for the letters you can see? Or is it 8 because you've got that invisible null character tacked on at the end? What do you think? And the answer is 7. That's right. The strlen function is pretty clever. It doesn't count that null terminator. It just counts the actual characters you care about, the ones you can see, and it stops right before it hits that /0 stop sign. So it gives you the length a human would expect, which is super helpful. Okay, let's move on to our next section, safe data input. You know, getting input from a user is something you're going to do all the time. But in C, this is also where things can go wrong, like really wrong. It's where a lot of programs break or open up security holes. So let's see how to read user input without blowing everything up. So let's say your program needs to read a person's full name, something like Ali Veli. Notice that space in the middle. That's the key. Which function are you going to reach for to read that whole thing in one go? Think about the different options you have. Okay, let's break down the choices. First, you've got scanf. The problem is scanf stops reading the moment it hits any white space. So for Ali Valet, it would just grab Ali and call it a day. Not what we want. Then there's gets, and I can't stress this enough. Never, ever use gets. It's incredibly dangerous and can cause major security flaws. Just don't. That leaves us with the clear winner, fgets. It's safe, it's secure, and it reads the entire line, spaces and all. For your exam, fgets is the answer you're looking for. Now, the great news is you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you want to work with strings. C gives us this awesome toolbox called string.h. It's a whole library packed with functions to make our lives easier. Let's check out the big ones. So let's talk about the 3 core functions you absolutely need to know. First up is strcpy, which is for, you guessed it, copying a string. Then there's strcat, which lets you join 2 strings together. And finally, strcmp, which is for comparing them. Copy, join, compare. These are your workhorses. Okay, time for a quick pop quiz. Take a look at this code. We've got a character array A that holds Merhaba. Then we use stratcat to add Dunya to it. So after that line of code runs, what's going to be inside A? And there you have it, Merhaba Dunya. Perfect. See, stratcat literally just tacks the second string onto the end of the first one. But here's a super important detail you can't miss. Notice how the array A was declared with space for 20 characters? That's because you have to make sure there's enough room for the final combined string. If you don't, you're going to have a bad time. All right, listen up, because this is probably the most important part of our whole prep session. We're going to go over the common exam traps, the mistakes that everyone else makes, but you're not going to, right? This is how you avoid losing those easy points. Okay, here it is, the #1 absolute biggest trap for C beginners. You see this code, if str1 equals str2. It looks right, doesn't it? I mean, we use equals equals to compare numbers all the time, so why on earth won't this work for checking if 2 strings are identical? Let's dig into why this is a huge mistake. And this slide lays it all out perfectly.
Here's the deal. When you use equals equals on strings, you're not actually comparing the letters inside them. No, you're comparing their memory addresses. You're asking, are these two strings living in the exact same spot in my computer's RAM? Which is almost never true or what you want to know. The right way is to use string comp. This function actually goes letter by letter and compares the content. And here's the other tricky part you have to remember. String comp returns 0 if they're a perfect match. Not 1, but 0. Seriously, if you walk away with only one thing from this whole section, let it be this. This is a guaranteed exam question in one form or another. I want you to burn this into your brain. The equals equals operator is not for comparing what's inside a string. That is a job for STM-CMP. So to wrap it all up, here's your final exam checklist. Let's run through it real quick. 1. A C string is a char array that ends in 0. 2. Use fgets for safe input, never ever gets. 3. Your best friends are in string.h, stringlen, stringcopy, and stringcat. 4. You always use strcmp to compare strings, never equals equals. And 5. Don't forget to make sure you have enough memory. Keep these in mind and you'll be in great shape. And finally, to leave you with a bit of a challenge, something to really get you thinking. Ready? Without using any library functions, how would you reverse a string in place? This isn't just about knowing rules anymore. It's about thinking like a programmer. It's a fantastic way to prep for those tougher algorithmic problems. Give it a shot, and good luck on your exam.